Happy Sunday, apprentices. If Michael Jordan never picked up a basketball, but he opened an MT4 trading account, do you think he'd be a good trader? That's what's next on today's show. Trading Forex or any other financial instrument carries substantial risk. The topics discussed on this show are the views of the host and the producers only. You should consult with your financial planner before investing in Forex or any other financial instrument. Don't be a dumbass.
Welcome to Day Trading Plumber, episode 50.
52 more, and then we're going to be celebrating 1 year, Matt. 1 year you've had to sit in this.
I'm Matt Simpson, and I've been suffering for 1 year.
Come on, dude. You've had a little fun. You've probably had to edit out more coughs than any producer in podcast history, so we can celebrate that.
According to our survey respondents, they just wish that there was more producing.
Well, they wish there was a monetary payout for every time I coughed. And unfortunately, there's not. But, getting back some constructive criticism, I did delete a few trade videos today because, I coughed or burped. And I was like, I could redo it. But, hey, thanks for the opening my Corona, by the way.
Cheers. That's a special cheers. You sold your first master course today.
Sold the first master course. Good old... Oh, there's the crowd here today.
Somebody found a soundboard.
Yeah. I mean, now it's real, right? First master course starts September 1st. If you're thinking about joining, join now. I think it's a great deal for 6 weeks. Starting, if you'd never heard of Forex yesterday or until this episode, and you're thinking about trading this, alongside, because you get access to the apprentice, journeyman, and then 6 weeks of basically me, you're copying my exact trades on an automated system and how I manage that automated system for 6 weeks. And then it's not like I disappear after 6 weeks. You can call me, we're probably going to be in the same problems down the road. But yeah, I think it's exciting. Could be the birth of something great where, who knows, maybe I can help thousands of people across the world understand that, yes, you can trade consistently in these markets. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be some wonder system that just works and you don't have to put any energy in and you could just go along your busy day and just dumps cash into your bank account like some would say. But it's doable. It really is doable. And those people out there who I get all the time, I was scammed by Forex. Why? Because you made a bad trade? Or like today, this guy posts a screenshot of his MT4 on his phone, and he's trading mini lots, which is 0.10, with like $190 balance. Obviously, he has a broker giving him like 200 to 1 leverage, and he's short gold, right? And the levels he's shorting at was like 1850. So, and we all know gold broke 2000 this week, new all-time high, and he's holding these shorts and he's like already negative, and I'm like, and he's asking the group, what do you guys think, what should I do? And my response to that is, one, you've held a losing, you just, dude, shut it down.
Stop it.
You've lost everything you put in. Luckily, it's only $200-300. But like what I was telling, I was like, look, if you are asking the Forex gods or some channel, whoa, what do I do? Just close your trades. It's one thing if you're asking for help. You're like, I shorted at this resistance level. It's popped barely above it, but the price action's telling me it still has a little upside momentum. The next resistance level's well within my margin. Now you're an educated, studying trader asking for help.
Well, you're asking for perspective.
Right.
If you're staring at a tree, if there's a tree between us in this table, okay, and I see one part of the tree, I see the knot, I might see a nest. I'm going to tell you what I see, and you're going to tell me what you see on your side of the tree.
Right.
You might say, well, I see rot, and I see an owl digging in a woodpecker.
Right. Or it's just blank on this side of the tree.
Right.
Right. Different perspectives. But at least we know it. We both know it's a tree.
That's right.
Right. This guy's like, what do I do? It's like he's asking, he wants, it's that confirmation bias. He was looking for everyone in the channel to be like, hold that son of a bitch. It's going to break any day now. And then he probably would hold it. And then it's like, look, dude, if you're asking that type of question to a bunch of, he doesn't even know me from anyone else in this group. I responded. I was like, look, dude, if you're asking the question this way, just shut it down and spend the rest of your time learning how to trade.
Take that $200 and go spend it on some content.
I get it all the time. Like I saw one, how come all these course makers, if we're trying to make money in Forex, why do they think we have $1,500 to spend on a course? That's my trading capital. And well, I told her, I was like, look, you're right. There's a lot of people building shit just to take money. But if you find someone who's willing to spend time with you 6 weeks, right? Or instead of giving that $1,500 to some trader somewhere who's taking your opposite trades or your broker, right? If you're trading a $1,500 account, more likely they're booking you and your broker's taking the opposite trades because you're not a main player. It's not like some guy named Josh somewhere in khakis. What's the State Farm guy?
Jake.
Oh, yeah. Some guy named Jake at State Farm in his khakis. He's not trading against you, but it's such a small account with pretty much probably dismal results that they're booking you. It's not worth passing on to their prime broker at such small. So you're just going to donate that $1,500. It's just so funny to me that people are so eager to jump into the markets with $1,000 account with no training, no structured, whatever platform, whatever Instagram ad caught their eye. Actually, quite honestly, you don't see brokers advertising directly to customers because I think here in the States, and I'm guessing just based on experience, they have to go through introducing brokers. Now, it doesn't mean you can't go straight to Oanda and fill out and open an account and sign 53 pages of disclaimers, which should be your first warning sign. Maybe I should educate myself.
Well, we talked about, I think it was the first episode, we talked about our broker and the pages and pages of documents you have to sign just to open an account. And every page says you are going to lose your ass. Yeah,
it's like our lawyers said we had to say this. You are going to lose all of your money. If you're okay with that, sign up.
What's up, Lindsay? What's up, Hank? What's up, James? Thanks for checking us out and giving us a shot.
Yeah, thanks for taking the plunge and jumping in to what Matt and I dreamed of a year ago. And, I want to be clear, and I'll say this openly right here on the show. If you take one of my courses or ever buy any service from me and you feel it wasn't valuable, you hated it, and Matt's going to cringe because there's a lot of people scamming people out there. But you set up a call with me and you tell me why and I can make it better. I'll give you your money back because I'm not in this game. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of expenses I've incurred this last year to create this stuff. And I need to, make money back. But I'm not in this game to be my primary source of income. My primary source of income is trading. I've kind of gotten away from it with a lot of personal distractions, and I have struggled. And, finally this week it feels like I'm a trader again. I'm learning how to deal with all of the things all traders go through. And what's funny is you seek out, I'm not alone. People in the trading space have bad runs. And that's what I want to bring the topic up. I selfishly just watched, can't believe it was on before, but I just watched The Last Dance documentary on the Bulls, which is a great documentary.
It was on ESPN for
it was
the rest
on ESPN,
of the world.
But now it's trending on Netflix, so it caught my eye. Amazing how marketing works, right? So, I got into it, and I was shocked. My best friend at the time was really into basketball. I wasn't into basketball because I was a wrestler. And as the Bulls are making that run, I mean, you had to be under a rock to not know who Michael Jordan was and the Bulls and the amazing, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc, those years, Dennis Rodman.
Worm is an all-time favorite player of mine.
Worm? Worm?
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. But it was amazing how I didn't know the details. All I saw was the good, right? It's like, I think we've said it on the show, like The Rock. Oh, what an overnight success The Rock is. No, the dude's been grinding for 30 years. He's been dieting, working out, working on his fitness. The Bulls, to go in depth of that dynasty and the hard work Michael Jordan had to put in. But it's just amazing to me from the perspective I had when I was young, like the Bulls just have it made. They're just awesome. But when you watch that documentary, it brings the depth, the hard work, the dedication, the perseverance, the things they had to overcome, right? Relationships were stressed. It's eluding me, but the GM, right? Very controversial GM.
Jerry Krause.
The relationship he had with the coach, with the players, and, his determination to be, the best team in business, where the players, right? Michael Jordan, his determination is just win games. So how's this relate to trading?
Hold on. If Jerry Krause isn't 5'4", is he the same guy?
Is he viewed the same way?
No, is he the same guy?
Meaning dickhead,
okay, so
short man syndrome?
Well, hold on. You're 6 feet 230?
6 foot 237
Okay.
now.
I'm 6 feet and I've been lean my whole life. Different kind of...
It's different 6 foot, right?
Yeah, it's a different 6 foot, but it's a different kind of confidence because I'm looking at almost everybody eye to eye. I wouldn't if I were in the NBA, but just about everybody I meet, I'm either looking, my eye level is either from the bottom of his nose to the top of his bald head. And I'm just a regular dude.
Right.
I'm not a big fella, so I don't have that big fella swagger. But I'm not a short fella, and I'm not a weak fella, So I don't have that lack of confidence. But if I'm 5'3", I'm a completely different person. There's no getting around it. There's no... Because my career growing up as an athlete on the playground is completely different. My, dodgeball, I'm getting my ass kicked. My whole experience in life is completely different if I'm 5'3".
So... There's no doubt short man complex is a real thing because, Jerry Krause, Jerry Krause was short, and let's just face it, he was hideous looking.
Oh, yeah, he was an ugly dude.
So, you not only are short, you're hideous, you look like a troll, and then it definitely formed his, okay, Michael Jordan, you're the best player in basketball, but I'm your fucking boss, right? And that's what I love about the documentary.
I don't give a shit who you are.
Right, and then, the whole...
I'm the captain.
Yeah, and how this relates to trading is the amount of work Michael Jordan had to put in on top of the talent, right? I want to make this clear because here's a reference I heard the other day, and it really, really struck a nerve, not necessarily a nerve, but really drove home to me is how many people get into trading, right? We won't say names, but we had a person enter our chat.
Oh, that was fun this week.
Our chat group. And we accepted this person with open arms. I even had a free 30-minute consultation, which you can get anytime by going to Allen FX and hit chat with Clayton. It's not that big of a deal. She gets in the chat room, throws it out there that, hey, I've never traded a day in my life. I'm really interested in Forex. And, me and everyone in the group accepts her with open arms. Not 10 minutes later, starts to spit motivational quotes.
I missed that part.
No, you didn't see those? Oh.
I was too busy spending money.
He who opens his wallet accepts the money that flies. Some bullshit, right? And then
really?
Yeah, so people in the group were like, "Oh, so now you've never traded a day in your life, but you can offer up motivational." And she didn't take that well because some people in this world are very entitled. They feel like they're owed something. The world owes them something.
And what I love about our group is our Aussie friends. We're having none of that.
Well, let's just face it. Any good group, any good think tank, any good cluster of individuals with one common goal, they're going to give each other shit. Right? Like, think about the Bulls.
Yep.
When Rodman's hungover, Jordan's on his ass. That is the camaraderie that goes on in a winning situation. That's the community we're trying to build. And look, if you come in there and you tell the whole group you've never put a trade on, actually you haven't even opened a demo yet because you don't know how, and you're accepted in, but then not 5 minutes later you're coaching someone and giving motivational quotes, it just sets a tone, right? Like you deserve a lashback. Like, oh, you don't even have a demo open yet, but you know how. And it wasn't a motivational quote like, keep trying. It was like, I'm the coach, you're the trainee.
I'm Jerry Krause, but I have no idea about contracts.
Right. So when I'm in this consultation with this person, and I'm giving up 30 minutes of my time, and she was very nice, told me she's never traded, but she's really interested. She actually thought what we were running was an MLM, and she wanted to skyrocket to the top.
You didn't tell me that. I would have gone off on that.
Yeah, no, I was like, no, look, there's no bolt,
There's no recruiting.
Right.
I am obsessed with MLMs.
So, once we got all that straight, I was like, look, people in the group are going to give you a hard time if, because that's how it works. It's how the world works, right? Like when I was trading apprentice plumbers and they did something stupid, it's your job to tell them they did something stupid. We've grown into this society when you call someone stupid, they get very offended and their mom calls you. I don't know how many times I had apprentices' moms call me.
Oh, yeah.
My son was sent home today for being late on his... Yeah, he's been late 4 times in a row. He got written up, and if it happens again, we're going to fire him. That's not fair. Really, it's in the handbook. He signed the handbook. He went through orientation. the other 900 guys on my job site seem to make it. What's not fair is you think you're better than everyone. Now, in this consultation with this person, she was telling me, I want to learn Forex so I could teach other people Forex. There was no inclination that she wanted to learn Forex to actually make money trading. I want to learn enough of the lingo and things so I can teach others. And I was like, baby steps. You can't be the coach of the Bulls until you've at least learned the playbook, the fundamentals of basketball. I don't know one person in this world. There's not one 6-year-old out there going, I want to be the coach of the team. No, they want to be the player. And then when they physically can't do it no more, then they're the coach.
Which is why master plumbers turn into the safety superintendent.
Right. I love that reference.
I'm tired of slinging pipe, so I'm just going to stand there.
However, safety has become way more complex.
Well, yeah, because OSHA's become more complex. And because lawsuits have become more complex. And
right.
The safety guy, that's a real job. And it's cool as hell that it's a profession. We have a guy who's a former paramedic, worked with, actually I think he's a former firefighter. Really great dude. And I'm really happy that companies make budgets for safety departments.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm not going to listen to a 23-year-old safety guy. My safety guy had better be 45, had better have a lot of sun on his face, had better be a little bitter, a little tired, and not taking anybody's shit.
Exactly. Getting joshed or getting razzed a little bit, if your instant reaction is, oh, well, fuck you, it's just not going to work. Because, like, when I was talking to this person, it's like, well, I'm going to learn Forex my way. And I was like, well, that's okay, but the markets don't care about your way. I mean, I say this all the time. The most wonderful thing about the markets, it's the most wonderful thing, and it's the thing that fucks most people up, is, I've used this reference a million times. There's no way possible ever you would get the opportunity to be a starting quarterback for the Broncos on Sunday. It's just you'd never get that opportunity. However, if you have capital and you spend a Saturday or Sunday on YouTube, you call a broker, you put that money in a broker account. Guess what? You're fucking trading. And that is wonderfully, they've removed all the resistance. There's some people out there that should say, well, people should have to pass or have a license to be able to trade because these retail traders that have nothing to do are cluttering the markets. Quite honestly, no. Us experienced traders, it would be stupid to shut that funnel because it's like free money. That's, back to the reference. If all you have is $2,000, spend that on education. I'm serious. Buy some books, listen to podcasts, trade a demo, try new things, get consistent first. I mean,
join the Day Trading Plumber community channel and hang out with us.
And if you get joshed or razzed a little bit, accept it. Because guess what? The markets are going to kick you in the balls and you don't get a cry to no one. That's why I love trading, because it reminds me of my wrestling days. They've done everything they can to try to make it seem like a team sport. Frederick Wrestlers beat Roosevelt Rough Riders in a duel, because they accumulate points. But let's just face it. It's
just like swimming.
It's you and the other dude on the mat.
Yeah, in swimming.
And one person's going to be winner.
It's swimming. It's you versus 5 other dudes.
Right. And you're going to come off that mat a winner or a loser. And you're going to have to face all of the challenges. Right? Did you gas out? You're going to have to evaluate why you took that loss. People come into trading and they say, like that young kid, weeks ago that I never heard from again, by the way, that had a business plan. And
That was 6 months ago.
yeah. And his business plan was, I'm going to make 10% a month. Not what strategy, not how he's going to get to that level. It's just, I have a certain amount of capital and my need side, right? My expectations are X. In order to meet those expectations, I need to make 10% a month. So it was all money driven. And that is like the first sign of hell to come. Because at least he knew nothing about trading, but he knew a lot about where he wanted to go. And that's great. It's good to have goals. But in that stage, I was like, well, let's set a goal out of the gate that you're not going to lose money, because that's a win. If you cannot lose money, the next step is you can make a little money. And then the next step is, how do I scale up from making a little money? And there's no way around all of those phases. There's just not. You could get lucky. I could probably count out of maybe 1 out of 1,000 traders that I've personally talked to that has gone from not knowing shit to consistently profitable their first year. It's very uncommon. Even then, some of them, there's no proof, and they may have just skewed their memory a little bit. The point I was trying to make is, when someone comes into trading, you hear all the time, oh, I want to make $1 million my first year. Or my first year, I'm going to do X. Next year, I'm $1 million trader. What's funny is you ask the same thing is, hey, if you want to be a pilot, would you think in the first year you're flying a 747 with 100 people or, 500 people in it to Europe at night in a storm? What's funny is when you use that analogy, people are like, no, it's preposterous. You got to put in a certain amount of hours. You got to prove at each level, right? Like, I'm a prop plane pilot. I'm a this weight jet pilot. And then you got to have so many hours at levels. Well, statistically, and I know we might have some pilots call in, statistically, trading's probably harder than being a pilot. And I'm saying that just from a reference point. If you're a pilot and, you want to write into the show and tell us how complex it is.
Please do.
Please do.
Pilots are some of my favorite people.
Yeah, I love pilots.
Used to fix avionics and nav and comm systems for F-18s. Love pilots. 530 passengers.
Now, if you're an A-10 pilot, you're the man. The Warthog, my favorite airplane.
747 300SR, made by our favorite company,
Boeing.
Seats 584 for the Japanese model.
By the way, what a good call out at the bottom at 158.
Nailed it. I
Just
got in. I gapped that. I sold that. I got in $100, $101. Sold it at 184.
Yeah, and then drops down to about 160. And you're like, up, buy it again.
Bought it again at 168. My favorite quote from Michael Jordan is, and he told this to Fortune, which is a great publication.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't get political.
Is this still a magazine? Does magazines still exist?
Oh, yeah, dude. Magazines are still a thing. For me, I like to hold a physical copy. That's why I like CDs.
But we're dying.
Yeah. Quote, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
Perfect quote, right? No one remembers Michael Jordan as the 9,000 shots missed guy.
Nope.
No one remembers Barry Bonds as probably one of the lowest batting averages. But when he hit the ball, it was like out of the park.
I went into the
Yeah,
went into the bay, didn't it? With the
did
kayaks.
he like just like over the green monster? Now, how this relates to trading. If you want to be a stellar, profitable trader, one, you're going to have to work your ass off. There's no way around it. There's no secret indicator. There's no secret sauce. Well, actually, the secret sauce is hard work, dedication, perseverance. You're going to have bad days. What it really boils down to is when you're having a bad day, can you cut it off? Can you say, for instance, your trading plan. Your trading plan should have a cutoff point.
Barry Bonds' lifetime batting average, 298.
Yeah, that's not bad. Maybe I was wrong. But he's remembered for the home runs.
And the walks.
And the walks, because people would just be like, I'm not playing with this guy. Now,
which, hold on, is significant. When
on base percentage.
When you show up and the pitcher's like, fuck it. That's very powerful.
Yeah, like you...
understand that. Where else in your life can you show up and the other guy's like, nah, I'm good, bud.
Well, if you think...
go ahead and have this.
If you think mathematically, let's put this into a trading reference. Probabilities. This pitcher's making the assumption that the probability is better to put him on base, which probably has a statistical value of higher percentage of that person scoring, and it's probably pretty high. He's taking the probability that it's better to just let him enter that realm than to scoop up all the people on base. Baseball is an amazing game of probabilities.
Well, at that point in his career, he was no longer a 40-40 guy, which is 40 jacks and 40 rips. So 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases. But by the time they were walking him every other appearance, he was no longer that guy. So he wasn't a threat that way.
There's probably a baseball nut out there that's like, okay, walking him to first base, and he's not a base stealer, has this statistical value of scoring. But if he could steal a base, now the statistics probably jump, I'm just thinking, 33%, being simple here, that he could score. I don't know if you saw that movie Moneyball, but...
Of course I did. Love Billy
changed the game of baseball by all statistics. I wish I had that guy working for us, Statistically, every time you drink a soda before you trade...
The one played by Jonah Hill?
Right.
Now hold on, because it has its limits. Moneyball has its limits. Is the Moneyball approach the technical analysis... But at some point, you have to put in the fundamental and understand what's happening with the rest of the math that you can't see?
Yeah, and you have to be able to execute.
Billy Beane hasn't won a World Series yet. But he also has a limited budget and a very cheapskate owner in the Oakland Athletics.
And
having said that, he's getting the absolute maximum production out of his limited budget because he's strictly playing technicals, isn't he?
Yeah. To be a really good trader, you got to know the technicals. You got to know your probabilities. And the only way you're going to do that is either take someone's word for it, who's selling you shit, or you're going to have to do the hard work. Do you think Michael Jordan got to be the shooter he was by taking shortcuts or taking 1,000 shots a day for 20 fucking years?
It was the ass beating from Detroit that made him into the Michael Jordan that we love.
Right, which the documentary clearly, because he never lifted weights. He
was a lean dude.
He lean dude. And then he put on, 18, 20 pounds?
He got beaten up by the
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, and the Detroit Bad Boys. And he spent that summer and he got yoked and his whole game changed.
Well,
and
not only him.
He was already amazing when he got destroyed.
Right. Not only him, he pushed his whole team.
Right.
Because they were all in the gym. And they were like, if he's in here, we better be in here.
Well, if you've ever had your ass kicked, you learn that you really are tired of getting your ass kicked. And so you do something about it. And you're going to be damned if you're going to do something about it and the people around you aren't going to do something about it.
Well, I want to relate that to me personally right now. Right? There's no secret. My personal life has taken a way different direction. My trading has suffered tremendously. Right as we launch a journey, right. I've had to separate my assets, which has greatly reduced my trade capital, all of this stuff. And I almost, when I was watching that, I'm drinking 3 beers, you're drinking 1?
2, bud. I'm on number 2.
When I'm watching this documentary, it almost gave me that, that's what I got to do. I got to get, the Detroit just kicked my ass. I got to get back in the weeds. I need to take 1,000 trades. Whether it's a new system, my old system, just get the numbers in. Go to the gym, which is TradingView replay, and hammer out 1,000 trades. I feel like I'm onto something great. It gave me that new inspiration, another way to see perspective. Tonight's AMA felt like it was 20 minutes. And I looked down. Oh, shit, I got 2 minutes.
The first 6 minutes had no audio.
Yeah, because, I tried something new and had music.
And it's funny when I tell you because you roll your eyes and you sigh like you think I'm going to waste your time in the middle of a trading.
Well, when you were calling me, I was like, something's up. And then, I instantly remembered, I turned the microphone. As a trader, and I think Mike Bellafiore said it best in his book.
It's Bella Fiore.
Well, let's just call him Bella.
No.
Because everyone else calls him Bella.
No.
Bellafiore.
Bella Fiore.
Bellafiore.
It's Italiano.
Italiano. Well, either way, Bella, as he says in his book, One Good Trade, which now I'm reading his book called Playbook. Traders are really close, hundreds of thousands of traders that approach their firm to be trained. And then the ones that make the level where they actually get interviewed. Then the ones after interviewed that they select, the ones that they've traded. He sees a commonality of the ones that make it. They are basically professional athlete grade mindset. Determined, perseverance. What, you're laughing at my determined? Those are the key elements you got to have. Then you can learn the technicals, the pushing the buttons, all of the things.
I can't teach you attitude. And in fact, even in construction and lay mass sitting at your desk supply chain, that part of it, I'm not interested if I have to teach you attitude. If I have to get you to care, you and I are not going to last.
Right. And this is what...
If you're not your worst critic, if you're not upset about getting one line on a rec worth 10 grand wrong, then you're the wrong person for me. Because I can't teach that. I can't train that. So I understand that. I absolutely understand where he's coming from.
Exactly. What's funny is this doesn't just exist, like you said, in trading. Anything you're doing. Here's why trading's so hard. You have no one to blame but you. And it's funny how many people turn the market into the enemy. It's one thing to go, I'm going to crush the market today. I'm going to squeeze out as much profit as I can. But I look at the market as like the universe. And whatever the universe does to me, I have to react to it. If whatever's happening to me is a negative emotion, a loss, price didn't move the way I did, or I start to go, there's no way price can drop after it broke this new level. Whenever you find yourself saying there's no way, it's probably more likely going to happen. But when this negative energy is happening to you in the market, it's not the market, it's you. Did you visualize the trade? Did you set up your if and statements? And I love how in the book, every time you go to trade, there's an if and. And if you're not looking at your trades as an if and statement, if it breaks this level, I'm going to do X. If it doesn't, I'm going to do Y. If it does and then breaks back down, I'm going to do X, Y. Whatever. You got to have if and statement pretty much every candle that forms. People don't want to do the work. To get to that Michael Jordan level, the Bulls level, it wasn't just off talent. Talent gets you so far. Hard work beats talent every day. And me being a stupid, I'm not going to do negative affirmations.
Can we make correction to that statement? I think that hard work outlasts talent. It's more sustainable.
There you go. It's more consistent than talent. Now, talent compiled on top of hard work, added to it, is Michael Jordan.
Unstoppable.
Right? Now, you want to be the best trader. I don't know how many people have approached me and said they're going to be the Michael Jordan of trading.
That's rich.
And don't get me wrong, positive mental attitude is a part of it. But
delusion is not.
Being overly positive, for instance, our friend who joined our channel, who says, I am going to be the world's best trader. I'm not even interested in trading. I just want to be good at it so I could sell shit to other people. Not the right way. It's a fine line. And what really sucks is today's youth, today's generations, and now I'm aging myself because here I am, one of those Gen Xers talking about generations below me. But we're losing that grasp that you are the captain of your own success. The markets didn't steal your money today. You made mistakes. There's no easy way. There's not a lot of things like the markets left in the world that doesn't give a fuck what color you are. Doesn't care how educated you are. Doesn't care where you grew up. Doesn't care if you went to Harvard, Ivy League finance school. Doesn't care if you can even spell stock market. All that matters is, can you pick a direction of a price chart? And when you break it all down to that simplistic, pick a direction. Just pick a direction. But what's funny is when you throw in fundamentals, you throw in what everyone else is saying, you throw in past experiences, you throw in all these things, it just boils down to an emotional game. Jordan, visualizing him grabbing that ball with 3 seconds, fading back so no one can block it, and executing the... Do you think in that microsecond he could think about the angle of his hands, the feel of his fingers?
Muscle memory, bud.
Right. Trading has to get to that level. And the only way you get to that level is thousands of hours on the charts. Now, can someone like myself shorten drastically that learning curve? Yes. That's what you're going to pay for in education.
All of that stuff's out there. Everything that you teach, everything that people teach, it's all out there now. At this point, I remember...
YouTube University.
That's right. I remember in the 2000s.
When are they going to start charging tuition?
Exactly. Well, LinkedIn is doing it. LinkedIn Premium. That's what they're doing. But anyway, I remember in the 2000s standing at the will call counter at a plumbing wholesale company in the warehouse. I was at the counter because I'm half competent and I showed up sober. And I would ask these old school plumbers, and I wouldn't ask you if you didn't have a plumber's belly. I would ask them, why are you choosing this over that, whatever that fitting is? And they wouldn't tell me because they were concerned about protecting the craft. And I would say, listen, all I'm going to do is look it up. So you can tell me and we can have an interesting conversation. And I promise you I'll ask good questions. Or you can not tell me and I'll just go look it up later. And some of them appreciated the gusto, if you will, of being forthright. And others just didn't understand. The point is that the information's out there. You may spend a ton of time finding the right information from the right sources. Or you could accelerate that process and learn from others' mistakes and learn from others' victories. which is what education is.
Right.
Somebody, like we talked about last week, somebody at some point had to figure out the right rate of decline for pipe, or the incline rate. What is it called? The slope.
Slope.
Well, it's the same with everything. It's the same with purchasing. I consume purchasing and supply chain content at a ridiculous rate, and that's interesting to nobody. There are 2 people in my entire company who will ever give a shit about supply chain content, and that's my boss and me. You know our boy Brandon, who's a big part of our community. Did you know that he's in Basalt today, which is Aspen, Colorado?
Right. I'm a little offended he didn't drive through Denver.
Rolls through Colorado, hits I-70, goes right past us. So I just want you to know that we don't rate. And green drake season is prime right now, and green drake's part of the mayfly hatch for fly fishing. But I just want you to know that he's not even fishing in Basalt.
What?
Nope, he's just hanging out with a campfire.
He didn't even throw some power bait.
Didn't do shit. So I want you to know that you and I are not important. And Brandon, we're taking it very, very personally.
We can't not talk about, I mean, hopefully people have either watched the documentary or do. But we can't just ignore the fact about the Scottie Pippen drama.
Pippen.
Scottie Pippen.
Who did himself no favors when he talked, by the way.
No, I mean,
he doesn't come off well is all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, dude, guy had a rough upbringing, and which kind of leads us into the drama, right? He went to a small college, played very well college ball, got drafted because our favorite GM needed to build a team around Jordan. And Scottie comes into the mix, probably undervaluing himself, kind of like a trader in second or third phase of their trading, where they're pretty consistent, but they're too comfortable where they're at, and they don't want to scale up. And now Scottie comes into the league, dirt poor growing up, came from nothing, gets this decent contract, but signs a 10-year contract. When you're a professional athlete, 10 years is the better part of your useful life as a professional athlete. I know basketball, it's a little further, but like a 10-year contract in football, well, it better be like, it doesn't matter if I get hurt, doesn't matter anything, I get paid this for 10 years. Scottie turns out to be like number 2 player in all of NBA, but so he signs a 5-year, $18 million contract.
Which is nothing.
I mean, at the time, I could see how you come out of college, you play I think basketball, you got to play your rookie year. They all make $900,000, and then they're able to sign a contract. He signs a 5-year, $18 million deal, and then skyrockets to like the number 2 player in all of NBA and is in the lower 2% of paid, and kind of throws a fit, right? If you watch the documentary, he even says himself he handled the situation wrong. And
I'm number 2 at Allen FX, but I'm no bitch.
My point here is, don't think because you're great that it can't be taken away. He was so happy the day he got signed and grateful for this. Man, the next 5 years of my life, I'm guaranteed $3.6 million a year. Great money. But then the hype, right? He started looking at what everyone around him is making, even though he's crushing it in his craft. Well, the point I'm trying to make is, in the early stages of your trading career, if you're looking at what other people are doing around you and constantly comparing yourself to them, it's just going to hamper your own progress, because every one of us has to find our own way to consistency in these markets. And every one of us has to take what we've learned and these strategies that people teach, create our own perception, our own angle, our own vision of the side of the tree with them. Scotty admits now he reacted wrong. He hurt his team, and it cost him. It cost him in the long run. Cost him almost relationships with his teammates. It gave Dennis Rodman a chance to shine. He filled that gap and did it quite well. And then when Scotty came back, Rodman went off the deep end, and we all know that story.
He literally disappeared in Vegas.
Yeah.
He just disappeared.
I need a vacation.
In the middle of the season. I'm good, bud. I'll let you know.
Did I ever tell you that I went to Vegas with Swanee? We won't use any other names. Crazy guy. We go to Vegas. We all paid for a cabana, and I brought a girl who I just started dating. This is before I was married, right? So I just started dating this girl, probably 3 or 4 dates in, and I happened to double date with Swan and his wife, and they're like, "Hey, you gonna come to Vegas with us?" So she's like, "Yeah, I'll go." So this girl who I barely know gets invited on like a double date to Vegas. And like I told her like later, I was like, "Look, it's cool. Like if you're just saying you wanted to go." So then it turned into like, "What? You want to date other girls?" So then I was like, "Fine, come with us. But I'm just going to warn you. Swan's like next level. Guy doesn't sleep.
Hits it hard.
Hits it hard. Like 3 days hard, 1 day off. He's back at work."
Well, he's a plumber.
Right. So we go to Vegas. We land afternoon Friday. Meet up with the crowd.
Which, by the way, is the Denver play. You leave Friday afternoon early,
Right.
about 2:00. You get there at about 5. Yep.
Right.
And then you come back Monday morning.
Yeah. Well, of course, the dudes are sharing one room and the women are sharing one room. And I think we went like 4 dudes and 4 chicks. So it's double beds, cheap time. Because we're all being cheap. And Swan's famous quote, "You're never in your room, why?" So I tell all this is explained up front. And she's like, "I'm cool with it. It's cool." So we're on the plane. Her and I fly separate, right? For whatever reason, we picked different flight. So we meet up with the crew. They're already half drunk. We had a few drinks on the plane. Friday night, and of course, Swan and his wife are fighting, which they're divorced now, but then it was like the early stages of, oh, we're married, but we hate each other. So instantly his wife tries to separate girls from dudes. So this girl I'm dating's like, look at me like, and I'm like, well, you can hang out with us or go. And so she plays along. She goes with the girls. I go with the dudes. We end up all meeting each other hours later, hammered. And instantly the girl I'm dating is like, "Oh my God, don't ever leave me again. Things are weird." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck. Oh, here we go." Now it just becomes like, how do I get me and her separated from the whole group? But we're sharing rooms. She starts crying. And then I'm like, "Oh my God." And then I was like, "Look, let's just pull it together. It's just 2 nights." Well, long story short, it's horrible. Right? Like, gets in a fight with his wife, kicks the door, knocks her out, and like just crazy shit. Well, I keep telling her like Sunday is going to be chill. We have a cabana at the pool that we're staying at the Palms. We rented a cabana. And this was September, so NFL's on. I'm like, we're just going to watch football, chill at the pool. It's all I'm looking for is just like relaxed time. Day starts out just like we want it. Chill day at the pool. I go down before this girl, eat breakfast, and she comes down, and now the whole group's pretty much at the cabana. Well, Dennis Rodman's there, and he'd been up all night.
My guy.
Right, and he's with some like douchebag guy, obviously just tagging along. And Dennis Rodman hits on his wife. So starts fight with Dennis Rodman. Swanee's like 5'4".
Maybe.
Yeah, short man come.
He's no Jerry Krause though.
So I love Swanee to death. So he gets in like the scuffle, and then it gets settled, and then Rodman's hanging out with us in our cabana, and he's 28 hours into
Bender, a
right.
Rodman bender.
And this is long after the bolt. Like, Rodman's already well known for being partier guy.
Was Carmen with him? That's my girl, bud.
No. This is way after Carmen Electra days. Like, he's not hammering down anything worthwhile. He's with some dude. Well, we're all hanging out, and I think it's kind of cool. Like, get a photo with him and, whatever. Well, then Swanee decides to go cannonball after we were warned. Right? Like, any more drama, we're kicking you out. And the first games of NFL haven't even started yet. He goes and cannonballs in the hot tub. Bunch of old ladies in there. Kapoosh! So they're like, all right, you're out. You're done. And then, dude, like, I paid $600 for this cabana. We get booted out. No money back. And I'm like, dot the I, cross the T, end to the worst weekend ever. Now, if I bring this girl I'm dating with me, that made it, like, awkward, it would have been cool. But, it just changed the whole dynamic. And it was like, now, is this girl ever going to talk to me again? And I just kept saying, I told you. This is a Vegas weekend with Swanee. You just need to expect Mike Tyson's going to show up with a white tiger in your room and
a face tat.
Right. And you're going to have a face tat, and you just got to roll with the punches here. The USDJPY pair. This pair and I go way back. I started discretionarily trading early in my career because I felt it was the only way. And then saw a little bit of successes with the strategies, mean reversion strategies. So I seeked out people who build robots, mean reversion. And, I landed on Rob Booker and Finch, and we all know that story. After having so much success with the robot strategies, I struggled with, when it got caught in high drawdown, I need to be able to discretionarily trade better. So I landed on did what everyone else does. I searched YouTube and the internet for, trading strategies. Well, my robot, I don't run on JPY pairs. So USD JPY is one of the most liquid, second most liquid pair. And I don't run the robot on it, so I'm never caught in drawdown with it. So I could trade either direction. So I chose that pair to be the one for me to discretionarily trade. I told myself, I'm going to pick one pair, I'm going to learn that pair, and I'm going to try to squeeze out profits out of that pair and just really hone in my discretionary trading. Well, I landed on a strategy called the piranha, which, looking back at the simplistic, this is what a lot of people get caught into. The simpler the strategy doesn't always mean better, but it's easier to follow. So basically what you do with the piranha is you look at what price action has done through the Asian market and the U.S. market. And when you're going into the Sydney Asian market, which here would be 3 to 5 is what I call like the close session, where liquidity goes away, no one's really trading, and you're pretty much stupid entering or exiting trades in that time period. And quite honestly, if you have really tight stop losses, you better take them off in that time period. You look at what it's doing, and if like the daily candle is bullish, and when it switches over to the new daily candle, you go bullish. You don't even care. You're looking at a daily candle. Oh, daily candle's green. So as soon as the new daily candle is, I'm just going to get long. And, then it goes, you're looking for 30, 40 pips, and then you're out. So I was like, well, let me try that. Obviously, it didn't work. Not with any kind of consistency. But it got me to look at this pair closely. And then the determination, the perseverance of, I need to dominate this pair. I need to figure this out. I think I'm onto something here with this day turn. I like this pair. It's very liquid. The spreads are small. And when I get off work, I can move right into the Asian session which this pair is pretty active. That was the beginning of the battles with USDJPY. Years later, this pair still is one of the most elusive pairs. It trends a long time. Just when you get into the trend, it reverses, kicks you in the balls. Like in the channel we talked about, a lot of times it's very correlated with the U.S. stock market. So if you have a bullish day in the stock market, you're going to have a bullish day on the JPY, USDJPY. Now, usually when you have a big sell-off in the U.S. equities market, people run and buy JPY.
Why is that?
Well, the JPY is considered a safe haven when the dollar is not. However, in this recent dollar run, I don't really see that. Don't get me wrong, the USD JPY dipped all the way down into the 105s again, which the 104s was the flash crash that we saw when the huge sell-off happened December 2018.
It's 105.56.
End of last week, we saw a big bullish run on that pair. U.S. equities were still bullish last week. The dollar was still plummeting. I try to use this pair as an overall dollar indicator. So when I see that big, huge amount of volume, bullish volume, hit that pair, I typically go, okay, next week I'm going to see the other U.S. dollar pairs start to trend up. I look at that pair as kind of the lead pair, where most people are looking at Euro, U.S. dollar, because you have the two largest economies with the Euro, U.S. dollar, and it's generally the lead pair. The USD JPY, I always kind of look at as that lead indicator for just the dollar. If that big bullish injection right at that support level that we've targeted, months in the past, gives me that confirmation that, like, okay, we're starting to see the bottom of the dollar decline. Now, does that mean we short gold and silver? I don't know. But I know Bitcoin's next level's 13,000. And, I don't trade cryptos, but really interesting to see what Bitcoin does at that 13,000 level. If we get there, I think today, 11.5, almost 12. Yeah, me and the USD JPY pair, it almost feels like when Rodman was added to the Bulls and no one really knew what to expect. So the Bulls were on this trajectory of winning, like I was with the robot trading system. And then all of a sudden you go, let's throw this guy in here. When you watch the documentary, it was a big deal because, one, he played for the Pistons, which Bulls and Pistons hate each other. And then, once Jordan was like accepting, like, hey, if you can make the team better, then the city got on board. It's kind of like what I did was like, hey, discretionary trading. Oh my God, I'm a robot trader, but I'm gonna pick this pair to really start to delve into, and that's kind of what led me to really get outside the box and start really looking at discretionary trading and adding that to my playbook, if you would, rather than just being a algorithmic trader and just saying, I'm just going to let the robot do the work. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some days where I go, I should just let the robot do what it does. To sum up the show, I want to drive home a few points. If trading is going to be a venture you go down, which hopefully it is because you're listening to the show and you're at least interested, understand this. It's going to be hard work, but it's doable. You get through. I'm going to use a Grant Cardone quote. It's going to be 10 times the work you think it is. Right now, whatever you're imagining is the work, it'll be 10 times that. And it'll be 10 times more frustrating than you can imagine. And then it'll be 10 times longer than you think it's going to take you to get there. But like most hard things we've all had to do in our lives, when you put the work in and you do it and you get through it, you're probably going to make 10 times more than you think you're going to make. If you can get there. Michael Jordan, do you think when the first time he picked a basketball up, do you think he would pretty much be a billionaire off playing basketball? Being the best player ever of all time? I'm not going to say arguably. If you go watch that documentary and then you go watch these pansy games they're playing now, basketball is not the same.
Can you imagine Michael Jordan saying, nah, I don't want to play because I might catch the flu? Can you imagine that? He played during the flu.
Take away all this bullshit that's going on now. The game is not the same.
It's not. They flop around. It's
right. It's turned into like half soccer, half. One of the biggest points I took away watching that documentary was,
it's solidified his legend.
Well, for me, it was like, man, basketball used to be fucking good to watch.
We loved it back in the 90s. We loved it. I can't even watch it now.
It's almost like football these days.
It's hard to watch.
No. The Joe Montana, the Dan Marino, the John Elway days, the fucking dudes are grinding it out hard. Now, we're worried about them getting concussions.
Putting in the work is always attractive to the right people.
Right. And I will tell you, if you do the work, it will pay off. The problem is too many people expect, well, I'm working 8 hours a day and I'm not getting shit. Well, if you want a capless opportunity, guess what? Just like when I went salary, we all start out getting paid for our time. Then, if you reach a certain level, your company's going to go, hey, we want to pay you salary. Oh, great. I've made. Well, at the time I made salary, they're like, it doesn't come with a raise. We're just tired of paying you overtime. So we're going to pay you salary. And now you're expected to work 50, 60 hours a week. And you're not going to make any more.
It's 11:35 on a Thursday night. And all I'm going to do tomorrow night is produce the show.
Right.
With the hope that a few hundred people listen to it. I don't want to hear anybody ever say shit about, I'm not getting paid. I don't.
Exactly.
Dude, we're doing
work.
it.
The work is going to pay off.
This is what you see on Instagram, and this is what you see Gary Vee talk about, and this is what you see Russell Brunson talk about. This is the work. It's the long play.
Right. And trading is no different. There's no secret. There's no course you're going to take. It's just going to click. Now, courses, education, YouTube University, they can shorten that time span, but you're going to have to do the work. And just like Michael Jordan had utmost talent, there's probably lots of people had more talent than him, but weren't willing to do the work. So they never became the MJ or had a shoe named after him that's probably made him more money than basketball.
Or a logo named after him, the Jumpman.
Right. He even tried playing baseball. And then he played for the Wizards and then owned them, and who knows?
Bobcats.
Yeah, what I'm trying to, the biggest point I want people to take here is trading is no different than professional athlete. As actually, statistically, I think they're pretty close to the same. Then if you want to be the MJ of basketball, like so many people that reach out to me and have their business plan where they're going to make $10 million a month trading, which would be the MJ of trading. Are you doing the work? Did you do 1,000 trades today and log down those and then go review them on Sunday to see if there's some anomalies that you could pick up on? Because that's what these guys you're competing against are doing in these markets. Watch the documentary
The Last Dance.
The Last Dance. And, if trading's what you want to do, get determined, get that fire in your gut, And, I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you very much for listening. Please join us next week.
Over and out.
If you'd like to learn more about Clayton's signals, please visit www.alanfx.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram at OFPMatt.